Now, some people thought a cat wall was going to train her to climb on anything, and while I haven't seen her climb the curtains, I did train her to jump up on my shoulder when we're outside. My idea is to have a safe space for her to go to when we see dogs. I did this using a clicker and treats. The first step is to relate this click sound with being given a treat. Once they understand that, you can get them to do things like follow your finger before you click and give them a treat. The idea is to mark the exact moment they do something you want them to do. And for us, that's touching her nose to my finger. The clicker simply makes that moment more clear. When she's able to follow my finger, I sit on my couch and have her put weight onto my shoulder. The idea here is to make your shoulder a happy place that gives food. As she gets comfortable, I increase the distance she needs to reach to get the treat until she is entirely on my shoulder, and eventually she's comfortable riding around on top. At this point, she'll do anything to get to my finger in hopes of getting a treat. I also taught her tricks like high five, so watch until the end if you want to see. Apparently the hardest part is getting them to actually push the skateboard and propel themselves forward. I started this by placing the treat in a position that she had to step onto the board in order to reach it. Day 1 looked like this, and I rewarded her for simply stepping onto the board. On day 2, I started moving the board as she stepped on and rewarding her for using her back legs to walk along. Day 3, we moved onto a hardwood floor, and I rewarded her for standing on the board and pushing off with one leg. This process is using positive reinforcement to shape a behavior that I want. A click means they did something right and they're going to get a treat. The clicker is used to mark the exact moment she does something I want her to do, and for this, that is her using her back leg to push off and gain momentum. On day 4, I was able to let go of the board, and as long as her body weight was forward and the treat was in front of her, she was willing to push forward to get to it. I noticed my food placement here wasn't helping, so I put it right in front so she would better center herself onto the board. Day 5 was similar progress, but she surprised me by pushing the board like we had practiced in day 2. This was a good reminder to go back and work on previous steps in order to reinforce what we had learned. We've only spent about 5 minutes every day on this, and every day after she has gotten better. If you don't have a clicker, you can snap your fingers or click your tongue. The more consistent the sound is, the better. I'll probably wait until we are able to do this outside before making more skateboard videos. Now, some people think their cats are lazy or can't be trained, and while Raja has no lack of energy, I did teach her how to give high fives. The first step is to relate this click sound with being given a treat. Once they understand that, place the treat high up enough that they have to use your hand as a step in order to reach. The idea is to mark the exact moment their full body weight rests on your hand by clicking before they can reach the treat. This will further reinforce your hand as a happy place that gives food. Over time, they will instinctually touch your hand when placed in front, and eventually you can move your hand vertically. Every cat is different, and an easier way may be to simply place a dry treat between your fingers and clicking the exact moment they reach for it. You can also place the treat high up enough that they have to stand on 2 legs to reach it. Mark the exact moment when their feet leave the ground with a click. This can be combined to create a standing high five.